Earth didn't send generals, they sent killers in army suits. They had grown used to fear, to threats from other species across the galaxy. But Earth, the blue planet so far away, had always seemed small, almost harmless. And now, according to reports from their scouts, the humans were coming. The Council had expected generals. Experienced humans in crisp uniforms, ready to negotiate, perhaps even to plead for peace. They had prepared for ceremony, for words and handshakes. They had not prepared for what arrived instead. The human fleet emerged from hyperspace with sharp precision, as though it had always been there, waiting. No banners, no signals of diplomacy, only the steady, cold glide of warships. They looked ordinary at first glance, the Council thought. Their ships were not as huge as the alien dreadnoughts, nor as colorful as the display fleets of other races. They were functional, plain, and deadly in their simplicity. Captain Ryan Hale stood on the bridge of the lead ship. His face was calm, his eyes sharp, and his hands moved over the controls with quiet confidence. Beside him, Lieutenant Laura Green adjusted the tactical map, watching the alien planet grow larger on the screens. Sergeant Alex Mason checked the armory, making sure every weapon was ready. These three were not leaders in the sense the aliens would expect. They were killers, trained to think fast, act faster, and survive at any cost. Ryan spoke quietly to his crew. "Keep it tight. No mistakes. They're going to think we're weak, that we're just humans in army suits. Let them believe that." The crew nodded. There was no pride in their words, only focus. They had trained for this for years, but training was nothing compared to the real moment. And this was the moment. On the surface, the Council observed the fleet's approach. They had never seen humans like this before. Reports had said Earth sent diplomats, but what they saw did not match their expectations. The humans moved with precision, but there was no hesitation, no fear. The Council chuckled, confident that this was only a small test, a courtesy visit before the real war began. The humans descended slowly toward the primary command center, a massive structure of glass and metal that reflected the sun in harsh streaks. They did not announce themselves with messages or greetings. The Council had always believed that humans were courteous when visiting, that they would speak words first and act later. How wrong they were. Ryan watched the landing zone with careful eyes. "Laura, Mason, prep the squads. We go in fast, clean, and quiet. No one sees us until it's too late." "Yes, sir," Laura replied. Her fingers flew over the console as she dispatched small teams in silent dropships. Alex Mason checked his rifle, a weapon simple in design but capable of destruction on a massive scale. He smiled slightly. "This is going to be fun." The Zorathians had guards posted, rows of them in their armor, sleek and shiny, armed with weapons that fired energy bolts. They were trained to fight other alien species, not humans. Their sensors were advanced, but their tactics were predictable. They would not see the humans coming. As the dropships fell from the sky, Ryan's team moved like shadows. They landed on the outskirts, away from the main gate, avoiding patrols and security cameras. The air was heavy and thin, filled with strange smells that made some of the human crew gag briefly. But it did not stop them. Humans could endure more than most species, and this was only a minor inconvenience. The first squad reached the main gate. It looked massive, impossible to break through with ordinary tools, but the humans had never been ordinary. Sergeant Mason planted a small device on the gate's control panel. A quiet hiss sounded, followed by a brief flash of light. The lock disengaged silently. "They won't even know we're here until it's too late," Mason whispered. Inside, the command center was a hive of activity. Aliens moved quickly, barking orders in a language that was sharp and harsh. They glanced at the entrance, expecting to see more humans in formal armor, more generals perhaps. But the doors opened silently, and the humans stepped through. Captain Ryan led the group. His boots made no sound against the metal floor, and his eyes scanned every corner. Lieutenant Green moved next, placing small charges on critical systems. Sergeant Mason covered their backs, ready to shoot the moment any alarm sounded. The first alarm did not sound. The Zorathians were busy with the reports from their scouts, confident in their superiority. They did not notice the humans in the shadows, moving with deadly grace. The humans split into teams, each targeting a specific point. Some disabled communication lines, cutting off the center from the outside. Others moved to the control rooms, taking out alien officers with quiet efficiency. Not a single human was injured. Not a single alien soldier survived the first encounter with Ryan's team. By the time the council realized what was happening, the humans had already reached their main chamber. It was a room of power and authority, where the leaders of Zorath made decisions that could affect entire worlds. They expected to be greeted by polite humans, perhaps to negotiate a treaty or show off Earth's capabilities. Instead, they found themselves face to face with humans who did not hesitate, who did not fear, and who were willing to kill anyone who stood in their way. Captain Ryan's voice echoed through the chamber, calm and firm. "We are here to take control. Any resistance ends now." The council stared at him in disbelief. Their technology, their training, their soldiers, all of it had failed. They had expected generals, but humans had sent killers. Not a single one of their officers had survived the first hour. The humans moved methodically, clearing rooms, securing exits, and disabling weapons systems. Every action was precise, every movement calculated. The council tried to organize a defense, but panic spread quickly. They had never seen a force like this. Other species had armies and fleets, but humans were something different. Humans did not follow normal rules, did not act predictably, and most importantly, did not fear death. Lieutenant Green approached one of the council members. "You can surrender now," she said, her voice steady. "Or you can continue and see what humans can do when forced to fight." The alien blinked, confused. He had heard rumors of human cruelty, of their willingness to fight to the last man, but he had never expected to witness it firsthand. Around him, his guards lay defeated, their energy weapons still sparking from the humans' interventions. Captain Ryan moved closer. His eyes were cold but not cruel. "We are not here to negotiate words. We are here to finish what is necessary. Earth does not send generals for this. We send people who get results." The council members exchanged fearful glances. They had underestimated humans for too long. They thought Earth was weak, thought it polite and naive. Now they saw the truth. Humans were killers, yes, but killers who planned, who thought, and who would not stop until their objective was complete. Outside, the human forces were already spreading across the command center. They disabled surveillance systems, cut power to defensive turrets, and captured strategic points. Not one human hesitated, not one faltered. The aliens had no idea how to respond. By the time the first full hour had passed, the humans controlled nearly the entire facility. Alien soldiers who survived the initial assault were trapped, confused, and terrified. They did not understand how such small forces could move so quickly, strike so effectively, and leave nothing standing in their path. Captain Ryan paused for a moment, surveying the room. "We've taken the first step," he said to his team, "but this is only the beginning. Remember why we're here. Remember what we represent. They must understand that Earth does not negotiate with weakness." Lieutenant Green nodded. "They will know soon enough." Sergeant Mason grinned, "And they'll remember it forever." The council finally attempted to fight back. A few brave members activated their energy fields, hoping to repel the humans, but Ryan's team had anticipated this. Small charges were detonated near the field generators, collapsing them in a flash. The humans moved in and neutralized any remaining threats. When the dust settled, the chamber was silent. The humans stood in the middle of it, weapons ready, eyes scanning for the next threat. The council was still alive but shaken, their authority broken. They had underestimated Earth, and they would pay the price for that mistake. Captain Ryan looked at the surviving council members. "We came to make one thing clear. Earth does not send generals. Earth sends people who finish the job. If you cooperate, you will survive. If you resist, you will be destroyed." The council had no choice. They had never faced a species like this, a force that combined intelligence, strategy, and sheer lethal capability. They realized that humans were not ordinary soldiers, not ordinary diplomats, not ordinary creatures. They were killers in army suits, and they had arrived on Zorath. As the humans secured the final systems, the council could only watch. The lesson had been taught, and it was clear. Earth had arrived, not with talk, not with ceremony, but with the quiet, unstoppable force of human determination. And somewhere in the quiet corridors of the command center, Captain Ryan smiled faintly. This was only the beginning. The humans had shown what they could do in the first hour, but the galaxy had yet to see their full strength. Earth did not send generals. Earth sent killers in army suits, and Zorath had learned that lesson the hard way. The sun rose over the horizon of Zorath, casting a pale orange glow on the jagged cities and metal towers. The planet was quiet now, but the calm was false. The humans had taken control of the central command, and the aliens were scrambling. The council had never faced anything like this before. They were smart, powerful, and armed, but humans were something else. Humans were unpredictable, fast, and deadly. Captain Ryan Hale walked through the corridors with Lieutenant Laura Green and Sergeant Alex Mason. Their boots made a soft echo on the metal floor. The humans had moved carefully, clearing the rooms as they went. The alien soldiers who survived the first strike were hiding, trying to regroup, but they were scattered, confused, and afraid. "Keep it moving," Ryan said. His voice was calm but firm. "They will try to organize soon. We need to be ready." "Yes, sir," Laura replied. She checked her tablet, seeing the positions of all alien forces on the map. Most of the soldiers were trying to gather in the East Wing. That meant the humans could predict their movements and strike first. Alex Mason smiled slightly. "Looks like they are walking right into us." The humans split into 3 teams. One team would hold the command center and make sure no reinforcements could enter. Another team would move to the East Wing, where the aliens were gathering. The last team would move outside, preparing for the alien fleet that was already taking off from orbit. Ryan led the team to the East Wing. The corridor was narrow, but it was filled with alien energy turrets and sensors. Most soldiers would hesitate here, but humans were trained to act under pressure. Every movement was planned. Every strike was precise. The first alien patrol appeared at the corner. They were armed with long energy rifles, ready to fire at intruders. The humans didn't shout or make noise. Alex fired a quick shot, the alien falling silently before it could react. Ryan moved ahead, using a small device to disable the turret. Laura covered the rear, watching for more enemies. In less than 5 minutes, the corridor was cleared. No alarms had sounded yet. The humans were fast, precise, and silent. The aliens had never seen anything like it. They were trained to fight other species, but humans did not fight like other species. Humans thought, humans planned, and humans were willing to take risks no one else would. When the East Wing doors opened, the humans saw the alien soldiers gathering in formation. They had energy shields and weapons, and they looked confident. But the humans had a plan. Ryan held up his hand, signaling the team to stop. "Wait for my mark," he said. "We hit them all at once." Laura nodded, adjusting the charges she had placed on the walls. Alex checked his rifle and the small explosive strapped to his belt. "Ready when you are," he said. Ryan's eyes scanned the aliens. They looked organized, but they were predictable. Humans had learned to read patterns in battle. They knew where the aliens would move, where they would shoot, and where they would try to hide. "Go!" Ryan shouted. The humans moved as one. Explosives went off along the walls, sending sparks and debris flying. Energy shields of the aliens flickered and died. Alien soldiers tried to fire, but the humans were too fast. Ryan moved through the center, shooting with perfect aim. Laura took out anyone trying to escape, her shots precise and quiet. Alex moved along the sides, catching any alien trying to flank them. In less than 10 minutes, the entire East Wing was under human control. The aliens who survived ran away, scared and confused. They didn't understand how so few humans could destroy so many soldiers so quickly. Ryan checked the map. The aliens were trying to organize a counterattack near the command tower. If humans did not act fast, the Council might send reinforcements from the tower. Laura Mason, we need to hit the command tower next. They're trying to bring in more troops, Ryan said. Yes, sir, Laura replied. She activated the transport pads. The humans disappeared, moving quickly toward the tower. When they arrived, the tower was surrounded by alien soldiers. But the humans did not hesitate. They split into smaller teams, moving around the perimeter, taking out guards silently. Explosives were placed at critical points, disabling communications and power to defensive systems. Ryan led a small group to the main entrance. The doors were heavy, made to withstand attacks from larger species, but humans did not need brute strength. A small device planted on the door sent a surge of electricity through the locks. The door opened quietly. Inside, the command tower was full of alien officers. They had sensors, communication devices, and weapons. They thought they could repel any human attack. But humans had already learned how to fight them. Ryan stepped forward. Leave your weapons and surrender, or face destruction. The aliens laughed at first, thinking it was a bluff. But then the first shot rang out. Laura had taken out a turret outside the window. Alex had cleared the hall behind them. The humans were already inside, surrounded and ready to strike. Panic spread through the alien officers. They had trained for battles, for wars with other species, but humans were different. Humans were faster, smarter, and more willing to take risks. They had no fear, and they did not hesitate. The humans moved in quickly, clearing rooms one by one. Any alien who resisted was taken down silently. The Council's representatives watched in horror as their best soldiers fell without a sound. No one could believe what they were seeing. Humans were supposed to be weak, simple, and untrained. But these humans were something else entirely. By the end of the morning, the humans had full control of the command tower. Communication with the outside was cut off, and alien soldiers outside the tower were confused and scattered. The Council realized their mistake. They had underestimated humans. They had expected generals, negotiators, maybe diplomats, but what they had faced were killers in army suits. Ryan surveyed the room. We've taken control of the tower, but we need to make sure the outside forces cannot regroup. Laura, take a team and set traps along the perimeter. Mason, prepare squads to intercept anyone trying to leave or enter. Yes, sir, they replied. Outside, humans moved with precision. Small squads set explosives along pathways, disabling vehicles and energy guns. Sensors were tampered with, so the aliens could not track human movement. Every move was calculated to create confusion and fear. The aliens tried to communicate with the Council, but all channels were jammed. They had no idea where the humans were or how many there were. Every attempt to regroup failed. The humans had prepared for every possible move. In the command tower, Ryan contacted Laura and Mason. "How is the perimeter?" he asked. "All clear for now," Laura replied. "No signs of major movement. The aliens are panicked." "Good," Ryan said. "We want them scared. We want them to know that Earth does not send generals. Earth sends people who finish the job," Alex smiled. "They're going to remember us for a long time." The Council was beginning to understand the true threat. The humans were not just soldiers. They were hunters. Every move was calculated, every strike precise, and the humans did not fear death. That made them unstoppable. The rest of the day passed with humans moving from point to point, securing the city and surrounding areas. The aliens tried to fight back, but each effort failed. Humans had anticipated their moves, trapped their squads, and disabled their weapons. By nightfall, the humans controlled most of the city. The council was forced to retreat to the inner sanctum, a heavily guarded area at the center of the planet. But even there, Ryan was already planning the next strike. "Tomorrow, we take the inner sanctum," he said. "We need to show them that humans are not just dangerous in battle, we are unstoppable." Laura nodded. "They'll understand soon enough. They already fear us." Mason laughed quietly. "I love it when they panic." The humans rested briefly, but they never let their guard down. Every movement was watched, every sensor checked. They knew that the aliens would try something desperate during the night, but humans were ready for it. They were always ready. That night the city was quiet. The aliens hid in shadows, afraid to move. Every corner was dangerous. Every street could be an ambush. Humans had turned the planet into a trap. The council met in secret, trying to plan their next move. They realized that Earth did not send diplomats, generals, or negotiators. They had sent killers in army suits. Humans were not like other species. They were patient, precise, and deadly. Captain Ryan stood on the balcony of the command tower, looking at the city below. Fires burned where human squads had cleared alien positions. Smoke rose into the sky, and the once confident aliens were now terrified. Ryan turned to Laura and Mason. "This is only the beginning. They will try to fight back, but they will fail. We are humans, and humans do not stop. We finish the job." Laura nodded. "And they will remember this day forever." Mason smiled. "Let them try. They won't survive." The night passed quietly, but the humans remained alert. They knew the aliens would try to fight back at dawn. And when dawn came, they would strike again, faster, smarter, and deadlier than before. On Zorath, the council finally understood the truth. Humans were not ordinary. Humans were not weak. Humans were not simple. They were killers in army suits, unstoppable and terrifying in ways no one had ever imagined. The city had fallen. The council was trapped, and Earth had shown, without words, what humans could do when pushed to the edge. Captain Ryan looked out at the horizon, the stars above reminding him of the galaxy waiting. "This is only the start," he said. "The universe will learn to respect humans. They'll learn that we do not send generals, we send killers." And in the darkness, Zorath trembled, knowing that Earth had arrived. Not with diplomacy, not with ceremony, but with the quiet, deadly force of human will. The morning on Zorath broke slowly, painting the jagged towers and wide plains in pale yellow light. The city was quiet, but it was a false quiet. Humans had taken the command tower and most of the city, but the council had retreated to the inner sanctum, deep in the heart of the planet. They were surrounded, trapped, and desperate. They had hoped the night would give them time to regroup, to plan a counterattack, but humans never slept completely. Captain Ryan Hale stood at the balcony of the command tower, looking out over the city. Smoke still rose from fires the humans had started the day before. Alien soldiers scurried through the streets like ants, trying to regroup, but humans had blocked all exits and set traps along every main street. "Laura, Mason," Ryan said, turning to his team. "Today we move into the inner sanctum. The council is there and they are their strongest, but we're ready for them. We've trained for this." Laura Green nodded, her eyes focused. "We know every path, every entry. They won't surprise us." Alex Mason smiled, checking his rifle. "And if they try, they'll regret it." The humans gathered their squads. Each was small, only a few people, but trained to think fast and act faster. Every human knew their role. They had rehearsed countless times in simulations, but simulations were nothing compared to the real thing. Ryan looked at his squad, feeling the weight of responsibility. "Remember," he said, "the council has power, but humans have will. They have numbers, but humans have skill. They have weapons, but humans have unpredictability." Stick to the plan, move fast, and we finish this without hesitation. The squads moved out. Dropships carried them to the outer walls of the sanctum. Alien sensors scanned the skies constantly, but humans had already disabled most of them. The dropships landed silently, and the humans slipped out like shadows, their boots barely making a sound on the metal ground. The sanctum was heavily guarded. Alien soldiers patrolled the walls, turrets lined the perimeter, and energy shields shimmered, ready to repel intruders. Most armies would hesitate here. Most species would be scared. But humans were not most species. Ryan signaled his team to split. Laura led one group to disable the turrets. Mason led another to cut the perimeter sensors. Ryan himself moved toward the main gate with a small strike team. The first guards appeared, armed and confident. They fired energy rifles, but the humans were already too fast. Mason's group moved along the walls, taking out soldiers silently with quick, precise shots. Laura's team planted small explosives that disabled the turrets instantly. The defenses that the council thought were invincible crumbled in minutes. Ryan reached the main gate. It was massive, made to withstand alien attacks from the outside. But humans did not need brute force. They used a small device that sent a surge of energy into the lock system. The gate opened quietly. Inside, the corridors of the sanctum were wide, lined with alien guards and security sensors. Humans moved carefully but quickly, splitting into teams to cover more ground. Every move was calculated. Every step was dangerous, but the humans were confident. They had trained for this. They were ready. The first alien patrols were caught off guard. Ryan's team moved silently, disabling the guards before they could raise alarms. The sounds of weapons were minimal: quick shots, soft thuds, and the occasional spark from an electronic device. Humans moved like shadows, fast and deadly. Laura moved ahead, checking the sensors. "Ryan, they're trying to send a message to the outer cities," she said. "Not if we can help it," Ryan replied. He signaled a small squad to intercept the communication room. Within minutes, the humans had cut the channels, leaving the council isolated. No reinforcements could arrive. No one could warn the cities about what was happening. Mason led his squad down another corridor. He planted explosives near energy nodes, causing lights to flicker and systems to fail. Alien guards tried to respond, but the humans had anticipated every movement. They were too fast, too precise, and too deadly. The council inside the sanctum was starting to panic. They had always believed in their technology and numbers, but humans had shown them that numbers meant nothing if the enemy was smart, fast, and willing to act without fear. Reports came in from the outer guards. Soldiers were being defeated in seconds, systems were being disabled, and humans were inside the sanctum walls. One council member shouted in anger, "Send the elite guards, stop them." But the elite guards were already trapped. Humans had used diversion tactics, creating fake signals and sounds to lure them into ambushes. Those who had survived the first battles now found themselves surrounded, with no escape. The humans moved quickly, striking without hesitation. Ryan's team reached the central chamber. The council members were inside, surrounded by their advisors. They had energy shields, weapons, and traps, but humans had seen it all before. They knew how to handle defenses, how to bypass shields, and how to disable traps silently. Ryan raised his voice. "Council of Zarath, you have one chance. Surrender now and you will survive. Resist and you will be destroyed." The aliens hesitated. They had never faced creatures like this before. They were trained to fight wars, to conquer planets, and to survive in extreme conditions. But humans were not like other species. Humans were smart, fast, and willing to take risks that no other species would consider. One of the council members activated a defense system, a large energy barrier that shimmered with power. They believed it would stop humans from entering, but humans had already prepared. Laura's team had planted a device that overloaded the barrier in seconds. Sparks flew, lights flickered, and the barrier collapsed. Ryan stepped forward, his eyes cold and steady. The council members saw the determination in his face. These were not diplomats. These were killers, and they would not stop. Alex Mason moved through the side corridor, taking out any alien who tried to escape. His shots were quiet but deadly. Each enemy that fell added to the fear spreading through the council chambers. Humans moved systematically, clearing each room, securing exits, and disabling weapons. The council realized that their technology and training meant nothing against these humans. They could fight, they could hide, but humans were already inside, controlling every key point. One council member tried to flee through a side door, but Laura intercepted him. Her rifle was steady, her aim perfect. "Stop," she said simply. The alien froze, realizing escape was impossible. Humans had anticipated every move. They were everywhere, yet nowhere at the same time. Ryan approached the central chamber. He looked at the council members, their faces pale with fear. "You see now," he said, "Earth does not send generals. Earth sends people who finish the job." The council had no choice. They were trapped, outmaneuvered, and terrified. They had underestimated humans, and now they were paying the price. Outside, humans continued to secure the perimeter. Small squads intercepted any alien trying to leave or enter. Explosives were placed along critical points, and sensors were carefully monitored. Every move was precise, every step calculated to create maximum confusion and fear. The city outside the sanctum was already in chaos. Alien soldiers who had survived earlier attacks were running, hiding, and trying to regroup. Humans were everywhere, striking quickly and disappearing just as fast. The aliens had no idea where the humans would appear next. Inside the central chamber, Ryan looked at the council. "This is your final warning. Surrender or face the consequences." One council member spoke, his voice trembling. "We cannot surrender. We will fight to the last." Ryan nodded. "Then you will learn why humans are different, why Earth does not send generals." The humans moved in. They struck with precision, taking out guards and disabling defenses. The council members tried to resist, but humans were too fast. Every movement was calculated. Every strike was deadly. By the end of the day, the inner sanctum was under human control. The council was captured, their soldiers defeated, and their plans destroyed. Humans had shown them what true strategy, speed, and precision looked like. Ryan gathered his team. "We've taken the inner sanctum. The council is under our control, but this is only the beginning. We need to secure the entire city and make sure no one can rise against us." Laura nodded. "The aliens are terrified. They know we are unstoppable." Mason smiled. "And they'll never forget it." The humans moved through the city, securing key points, disabling weapons, and capturing any remaining alien forces. By nightfall, the city was completely under human control. The council was trapped, humiliated, and forced to obey. Ryan looked out over the city from the command tower. Fires burned, smoke rose, and the once powerful alien army was now broken. Humans had shown them what it meant to face Earth's forces. They had not sent generals. They had sent killers in army suits. Laura joined him at the balcony. "They will learn to respect humans now," she said quietly. Ryan nodded. "And the galaxy will learn soon enough. We are humans, and humans finish the job." The night passed quietly, but humans remained vigilant. They knew that other planets would hear of this battle and try to challenge them, but humans were ready. They would move, strike, and win. Earth did not send generals. Earth sent killers. The Council would remember this day forever. Zorath would remember it. And somewhere in the galaxy, others would hear the story and fear the humans who moved like shadows, struck like lightning, and never hesitated. Captain Ryan turned to his team. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we prepare for the next challenge. But for now, remember this. Humans do not stop. We finish what we start." And in the quiet under the stars of Zoreth, humans rested for a moment, readying themselves for the battles to come. The city was theirs, the council was theirs, and the lesson was clear. Earth did not send generals. They sent killers in army suits. The city of Zoreth was silent when the sun rose again. Smoke drifted slowly between the tall metal towers. Broken machines lay in the streets and alien soldiers hid wherever they could. The inner sanctum had fallen. The council was captured, but the war was not over. High above the planet, the alien fleet was moving. Massive warships filled the sky, blocking the stars. They were older than most human ships, but they were powerful and many. The alien commanders believed they still had one chance. If they could destroy the humans from orbit, they could still save their pride and their world. Captain Ryan Hale stood inside the command tower, watching the space map on a large screen. Red markers showed the alien fleet moving into attack position. There were many ships, too many for a normal force. Laura Green stood beside him, her arms crossed. They are getting ready to fire. They think ground control means nothing if they rule space. Ryan nodded slowly. That's where they're wrong. Alex Mason leaned against a console, checking his weapon even though he was indoors. Let me guess. They think we'll run. Ryan looked at him. They think we'll beg. The humans had prepared for this. They always did. Earth never sent forces without planning for the worst case. The alien fleet was strong, but it relied on order, command chains, and shared systems. Humans knew how to break those. Ryan tapped the console. Activate Phase 1. Across the city, hidden systems powered on. Long buried beneath alien streets, human teams had placed devices during the first days of fighting. These were not bombs. They were signal breakers, jammers, and false transmitters. In orbit, alien ships began receiving strange readings. Sensors showed human ships where there were none. Power levels spiked and dropped without reason. Communication channels filled with noise. Alien commanders shouted orders, trying to restore control. On the ground, Laura watched the data flow. Their fleet is losing coordination. They can't tell real signals from fake ones. Good, Ryan said. That's how we want them. But the aliens were not fools. After a few minutes of confusion, they adapted. Smaller ships broke formation and moved closer to the planet. They prepared for orbital strikes. Ryan's expression did not change. Phase 2. Deep in the mountains outside the city, hidden doors opened. Long, dark shapes rose from underground launch sites. Human orbital cannons, built in silence during the early days of the mission, locked onto targets in space. The first shot tore through the sky. An alien cruiser vanished in a flash of light. Another shot followed. Then another. The alien fleet panicked. They had not detected the cannons. They had not believed humans could build such weapons so fast, right under their control. That was their mistake. Humans did not wait for permission. They acted. Alien ships returned fire. Beams of energy struck the planet's surface, turning sections of the city into burning ruins. Buildings collapsed. The ground shook. Inside the command tower, alarms rang. Damage reports coming in, Laura said. We're losing sections of the outer city. Ryan clenched his jaw. Evacuate all human squads from exposed zones. Let the city burn if it has to. We don't stop now. Alex stepped closer. They're angry. That means they're sloppy. Ryan gave a thin smile. Exactly. Human fighters launched from hidden hangars across the planet. They were small, fast, and hard to track. They did not fly in clean lines. They scattered, changed speed, and attacked from unexpected angles. Alien defense systems struggled to keep up. Human pilots did not rely only on machines. They relied on instinct. They watched enemy movement, guessed patterns, and took risks no alien would consider. One human fighter flew straight into the middle of an alien formation, released its payload, and escaped through the explosion it created. Alien ships collided trying to avoid it. In the command tower, Laura watched the battle unfold. They're breaking formation. Their command structure is collapsing. Ryan nodded. They're not built for chaos. Humans are. But the aliens had one last move. A massive alien warship moved forward. It was larger than anything else in their fleet. Its hull glowed as it charged its main weapon. If it fired, it could wipe out the command tower and everything around it. Laura's eyes widened. That ship could end this. Ryan stared at the screen. Only if it fires. Alex straightened. Tell me you've got a plan. Ryan turned to him. I need a team, small, fast, no backup. Alex smiled. You had me at small and fast. Minutes later, a human shuttle launched from the tower. It flew low, using the planet's curvature to avoid sensors. Inside were Ryan, Laura, Alex, and a small strike team. The shuttle climbed hard, pushing through atmosphere and into space. Alarms screamed as alien sensors finally detected it. They see us, Laura said. Ryan nodded. Good. The shuttle flew straight toward the massive warship. Alien guns turned, firing bursts of energy. The shuttle twisted and rolled, barely avoiding each shot. Any closer and they'll hit us, Alex said. Ryan leaned forward. That's close enough. The shuttle released the team. Humans launched into open space, magnetic boots locking onto the hull of the alien warship. The surface was smooth and cold. Vibrations shook through it as the main weapon continued charging. They moved fast. Alien defenders rushed to stop them, but humans were already inside. Cutting tools burned through hull plating. Smoke and sparks filled the corridors. Inside the ship, chaos ruled. Human squads split up, each targeting a different system. Laura hacked into the control network, flooding it with false commands. Alex led a direct assault toward the weapon core. Alien soldiers fought back, but humans moved with brutal efficiency. They did not shout. They did not hesitate. They advanced, firing with calm precision. Alex reached the weapon chamber. It was massive, filled with glowing energy conduits. Ryan, he said over comms, I'm at the core. Do it, Ryan replied. Alex planted charges along the conduits. His hands were steady. He had done this before in training and in real battles. He set the timer and turned back. Time to leave, he muttered. The humans regrouped and moved back toward the hull. Alien resistance grew stronger as alarms blared across the ship. 30 seconds, Laura said. The team launched back into space just as the shuttle swung around to pick them up. They barely made it inside before the explosion hit. The massive warship tore itself apart. Energy surged out in a blinding flash. The shockwave rippled through space, smashing nearby alien ships and throwing the fleet into complete disarray. On the ground, human soldiers watched the sky light up. Cheers filled the comm channels. The alien fleet was breaking. Without their command ship, the remaining vessels tried to flee. Some jumped into hyperspace. Others were destroyed by orbital cannons and human fighters. Within an hour, the sky was clear. The battle was over. Ryan stood again in the command tower, looking up at the now empty stars. His armor was scratched. His face was tired, but his eyes were calm. Laura joined him. The fleet is gone. Zoreth is isolated. Alex dropped into a chair nearby. That was fun. Ryan allowed himself a small breath. This wasn't about fun. This was about sending a message. Laura nodded. They'll tell others. Yes, Ryan said. They'll tell everyone. The captured council was brought before him again. Their leaders looked broken now, not just defeated but shaken to their core. You had fleets, Ryan said calmly. You had numbers, you had weapons, and it still wasn't enough. One council member whispered, "What are you?" Ryan answered without anger. "We're humans. And Earth doesn't send generals." He turned away. Outside, human forces secured the last remaining resistance. Zoreth was silent again, but this time it was real. The war was over, but the story was not. Across the galaxy, signals spread. Worlds listened. Empires watched. They heard what happened when Earth was challenged. They learned that humans did not rely on titles or rank. They relied on people willing to do what others could not. Killers in army suits. And the galaxy would never forget it. The city of Zoreth was quiet now. The fires that burned during the battles had mostly died, leaving smoke drifting in the pale morning light. The alien council was trapped, their fleet destroyed or scattered, and their soldiers either captured or hiding. The humans controlled the city, the sanctum, and the skies. But Captain Ryan Hale knew the fight was not just about winning a battle. It was about sending a message the entire galaxy could understand. Ryan stood on the balcony of the command tower. Beside him, Lieutenant Laura Green and Sergeant Alex Mason watched the city below. Their teams were securing remaining resistance points, checking buildings, and making sure no alien soldier could rise again. Laura broke the silence. "They're beaten, Captain. There's nothing left to fight." Ryan shook his head slowly. "They're beaten, yes. But defeated soldiers do not mean respect. The Council still thinks humans are lucky. They still think Earth is ordinary. We need them to understand who we are." Alex smirked. "I like the sound of that. Make them scared and impressed at the same time." Ryan gave a faint smile. "Exactly." The council members were brought into the central chamber of the command tower. They were weak, pale, and trembling. They had seen their fleet destroyed, their city conquered, and their defenses broken in ways no one in their history had ever imagined. They had expected generals, negotiators, maybe diplomats. Instead, they had faced humans, killers in army suits. Ryan addressed them calmly, but with authority. "You have seen what happens when Earth is challenged. You have seen what happens when humans are underestimated. This is not luck, this is skill, strategy, determination, and most of all, courage." One of the council members tried to speak, but Ryan raised a hand. "No excuses, no debates. You cannot imagine what it is to fight humans on their terms. You cannot understand how we move, how we think, or how we strike. You have lost, and you have lost because you believed we were ordinary." Laura stepped forward, her voice steady. "Earth does not send generals to fight battles like this. We send people who finish the job. People who do not stop. People who do not fear. People who think faster than anyone else and strike harder than anyone else." The council members looked down, ashamed. They had believed their armies and technology would be enough. They had thought humans would act politely like diplomats. They had been wrong. Alex Mason added, "And now you know the truth. Humans are not just soldiers. Humans are hunters. Humans are unstoppable." Ryan continued. "This is your last chance. Accept Earth's terms and survive. Resist and you will learn fully why humans finish what they start." The council was silent. They had no choice. They had already seen the destruction, the strategy, the speed, and the efficiency of humans. They knew that even if some soldiers remained, they could never regroup. The humans had anticipated every move, planned for every escape, and executed everything with precision. Outside the city, human squads moved through the streets, clearing abandoned weapons, securing buildings, and removing traps left behind by retreating aliens. Even as they worked, their presence reminded every survivor of human skill. Every corner could hide a human, and every shadow could conceal danger. Humans had turned the city into their domain. In orbit, small human teams repaired orbital cannons and surveillance satellites. The alien fleet had been scattered, but humans ensured they could respond to any threat quickly. The galaxy had learned that humans did not fight like anyone else. Ryan looked at the council members. "Do you understand now? Earth does not rely on generals. We rely on people who act when necessary, people who do what others cannot. That is why we are here and why you have failed." One of the council members spoke quietly, his voice trembling. "You are not like anyone we have known." Ryan nodded. "Correct, we are humans. And humans survive, humans adapt, and humans dominate when challenged. That is who we are. That is what Earth sends when it is needed." Laura added, "The galaxy will remember this. They will tell others. They will fear and respect humans, and you will make sure of that." Alex smiled. "And the lesson will not be forgotten." The council members bowed their heads in acknowledgement. They had no other choice. They could live under human terms or they could die. Earth had shown them the truth. Humans were not to be underestimated. They were not to be negotiated with lightly. They were not ordinary. Ryan turned to his team. We've secured Zorath. We've shown our power and skill. But remember this, humans do not fight for glory. We fight because it is necessary. We fight because no one else can. We finish what must be finished. The teams continued moving through the city, ensuring order, disabling remaining weapons, and capturing any alien soldiers who resisted. The city, once chaotic, was now firmly under human control. The council had no choice but to comply. Outside the command tower, the citizens of Zorath, mostly civilians and non-combatants, watched the humans. There was fear, but also awe. Humans were unlike any species they had seen. They were disciplined, precise, and ruthless when necessary. Yet they acted with control, not mindless rage. They had brought order, not chaos. They had won, but they had also shown a strange respect for life when it did not resist. In the following days, human teams moved beyond the city. They explored the outer regions, securing resources, disabling remaining alien weapon stations, and ensuring no rebellion could arise. They used strategy, not force alone, to maintain control. Their presence was everywhere, yet invisible in its precision. Ryan watched the operations from the command tower. "This is what humans do," he said quietly. "We adapt, we plan, we act, and we never stop until the mission is complete." Laura nodded. "Zorath will remember this day. The Council will tell the galaxy." Mason laughed softly. "And the galaxy will listen. They will learn to fear humans before ever meeting us." The captured council members were moved into secure holding rooms. Ryan allowed them minimal freedom, enough to speak with their subordinates, but not enough to plot escape. Every movement was monitored. Every communication was observed. Humans had shown their skill in battle, but now they were showing it in governance. They could win wars and control worlds without wasting unnecessary lives. Ryan walked through the command tower, checking on teams and communicating with squads across the city. His mind was calm, but alert. He knew this victory would echo across the stars, but he also knew that other challenges would come. Other species would test humans, underestimate them, and be proven wrong. That was the way of the galaxy. Yet he felt confidence. Humans were not ordinary. Humans were killers in army suits. They were disciplined, cunning, and relentless. They did not fear. They did not hesitate. And the universe was learning, one planet at a time, why Earth never sent generals when it could send humans. In the city streets, humans walked with quiet purpose. Soldiers and officers moved side by side, checking buildings, securing streets, and ensuring that Zorath would never rise against them again. Civilians watched from a distance, whispering stories of the human speed, precision, and intelligence. Humans had changed everything here. They had rewritten the rules of warfare and dominance. Ryan gathered his team on the balcony once more. "This is only one planet," he said, "but the message is clear. Humans do not rely on titles, technology, or sheer numbers alone. We rely on will, skill, and precision, and we act when necessary." Laura smiled slightly. "And now the Council will spread the story. Zorath will tell others." Alex grinned. "They'll remember us and they'll think twice before challenging Earth." The council members, humbled and aware of their defeat, could only watch in silence. They had seen the humans act, and they had felt the weight of human strategy, speed, and willpower. There was no argument left. Humans had proven what no alien had believed possible, that Earth did not send generals, and that humans were unlike anything else in the galaxy. Outside the city, human squads completed their final rounds. Weapons were secured, systems restored, and the city stabilized. Orders were given for a small human contingent to remain for ongoing supervision, while the main force prepared to leave Zorath and return to Earth. Ryan watched the horizon, the pale light reflecting off broken buildings and distant fires. "We leave Zorath with more than victory," he said quietly. We leave a lesson. The galaxy will learn to respect humans, and they will remember why Earth does not send generals. Laura nodded. We've changed this world forever. Mason laughed softly. And the next planet will learn too. The humans prepared their ships for departure. The Council was left with the memory of humans in army suits who had moved faster, struck harder, and thought smarter than any alien species they had known. Zoreth had been conquered not by luck or chance, but by human skill, strategy, and determination. As the human fleet disappeared into hyperspace, the galaxy watched and whispered. Stories would spread of humans who acted without hesitation, who fought without fear, and who finished every mission they began. Earth did not rely on generals. Earth relied on people who acted when necessary, people who were killers in army suits. Captain Ryan Hale, Lieutenant Laura Green, and Sergeant Alex Mason looked at one another, knowing the mission was complete. The lesson had been taught. The galaxy had learned. Humans were not ordinary. Humans were unstoppable. And somewhere across distant stars, others would hear the story and shiver in awe. Earth had arrived, not with diplomacy, not with negotiation, not with generals. Earth had arrived with humans, and humans always finish the job.